Have you ever wondered what happens when humanity pushes the absolute limits of exploration? When we send our most sophisticated instruments to peer into the deepest, darkest corners of existence itself? What we're about to explore together will challenge everything you thought you knew about the boundaries of our universe and our place within it. Tonight, we're embarking on a journey that begins at the very edge of everything we can possibly observe. A place so distant that the light reaching us has been traveling since almost the beginning of time itself. This isn't just another space story. This is the tale of how NASA's most ambitious telescope discovered something at the cosmic horizon that has left scientists questioning the very foundations of reality. If you find yourself captivated by these explorations into the unknown, I'd be incredibly grateful if you'd consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. The visuals are here to guide you, but feel free to close your eyes and let your imagination drift through these cosmic revelations as we venture together into territories that exist at the very limits of human understanding. Before we launch into this extraordinary discovery, let me paint you a picture of just how far we're talking about traveling. Imagine you could somehow journey outward from Earth at the speed of light itself. You'd zip past our moon in just over a second. The sun would fade behind you in about 8 minutes. After 4 years of this impossible voyage, you'd finally reach our nearest stellar neighbor. But we're not stopping there. We're heading toward distances so incomprehensible that even light, the fastest thing in existence, takes billions upon billions of years to traverse them. The story begins with an instrument so powerful, so precisely engineered, that it took decades to design and build. We're talking about a telescope that had to be folded like cosmic origami just to fit inside the rocket that carried it to space. A machine so sensitive that it operates at temperatures barely above absolute zero, in the frozen depths of space, 1,000,000 miles from Earth. This technological marvel cost $10 billion and required the coordinated efforts of thousands of scientists and engineers across the globe. But here's what makes this story truly remarkable. This telescope wasn't just built to take pretty pictures of nearby planets or familiar star formations. It was designed with one ultimate goal in mind: to peer so far into space and so far back in time that it could witness the universe when it was still an infant, barely emerged from the cosmic dawn of creation itself. You see, when we look out into space, we're actually looking backward through time. The light from distant objects takes time to reach us, sometimes millions or billions of years. So when this revolutionary instrument gazes toward the cosmic horizon, it's literally observing events that occurred when the universe was just a fraction of its current age. It's like having a time machine that can show us the baby pictures of existence itself. Now, scientists had theories about what they might find at these extreme distances. They expected to discover the first stars and galaxies, primitive and simple compared to the complex structures we see in our local cosmic neighborhood today. They thought they'd witness the gradual assembly of matter from simplicity to complexity, exactly as their models predicted. But what they actually discovered has sent shockwaves through the entire scientific community, at distances so vast they strain human comprehension, at times so early in cosmic history that stars had barely begun to shine. This incredible instrument detected something that simply shouldn't exist, according to our best understanding of how the universe evolved. We're talking about fully formed, massive galaxies shining brilliantly in the cosmic darkness, just a few 100 million years after the Big Bang itself. To put this in perspective, if the entire history of the universe were compressed into a single year, these galaxies would have appeared by early January, when the cosmos was still finding its rhythm after the initial explosion of creation. According to every model scientists had developed, structures this complex and massive simply couldn't have formed so quickly. It would be like discovering a fully built metropolitan city in a location where you expected to find, at most, the first primitive settlements. These ancient galaxies aren't just surprising because of when they existed, they're challenging our fundamental understanding of how cosmic structures form and evolve. Some of these distant behemoths appear to be more massive than our own Milky Way, which has had over 13 billion years to grow and accumulate matter. Yet here are galaxies that achieve similar or even greater sizes when the universe was barely past its infancy. The implications of this discovery ripple through every aspect of cosmology. If massive, complex galaxies could form this quickly after the Big Bang, it suggests that the early universe was far more dynamic and efficient at building structure than we ever imagined. It's as if the cosmic construction crews were working at superhuman speed, assembling galactic metropolises in what should have been the equivalent of cosmic moments. But the mysteries don't stop with just the size and timing of these ancient giants. When scientists analyzed the light from these distant galaxies, they found chemical signatures that tell an equally puzzling story. These early cosmic citizens contain surprisingly high amounts of certain heavy elements, materials that should have taken multiple generations of stellar evolution to produce. It's like finding advanced metallurgy in archaeological sites that predate the supposed invention of metalworking by thousands of years. Every new observation from this remarkable telescope adds another layer to the mystery. The universe, at its earliest observable epochs, appears to have been a much more active, complex, and rapidly evolving place than any of our theories predicted. We're witnessing cosmic evolution proceeding at breakneck speed, with structures forming and maturing in timeframes that challenge everything we thought we knew about how galaxies come to be. What makes this discovery even more profound is that we're not just talking about a few exceptional cases. This revolutionary instrument has revealed an entire population of these massive early galaxies scattered across the primordial cosmos. It's as if we've discovered that the universe's infancy was populated not by cosmic toddlers learning to walk, but by fully mature galactic civilizations already engaged in sophisticated cosmic activities. The scientific community is still grappling with the implications of these observations. Some researchers are proposing that star formation in the early universe was extraordinarily efficient, allowing matter to organize into massive structures much more rapidly than in the modern cosmos. Others suggest that we may need to completely revise our understanding of dark matter and how it provides the gravitational scaffolding around which galaxies form. This isn't just an academic puzzle confined to university lecture halls and research papers. These discoveries are rewriting the story of cosmic evolution itself. They're forcing us to reconsider fundamental questions about how complexity emerges from simplicity, how structure forms from chaos, and how the universe transformed from a hot, dense, relatively uniform state into the rich tapestry of galaxies, stars, and planets we observe today. The telescope responsible for these groundbreaking observations operates in the infrared spectrum, detecting heat radiation rather than visible light. This capability is crucial because as light travels across billions of years of cosmic history, it gets stretched by the expansion of space itself. Light that began as visible radiation from the most ancient stars and galaxies has been stretched so far that it now appears as infrared radiation, invisible to our eyes but perfectly detectable by this technological marvel. This stretching effect, known as redshift, serves as a cosmic timestamp. The more stretched the light, the further it has traveled and the longer ago it was emitted. By measuring this stretching with extraordinary precision, scientists can determine not just how far away these, when in cosmic history they were ancient galaxies are, but exactly ining. It's like having a universal clock that allows us to peer into specific moments in the universe's past. What emerged from these observations was a picture of the early universe that looks nothing like what scientists expected. Instead of a quiet, gradually organizing cosmos, we see evidence of vigorous activity, rapid structure formation, and cosmic processes operating at efficiency levels that seem almost impossible according to our current understanding of physics and astronomy. The most distant galaxy detected by this remarkable instrument existed just 290 million years after the Big Bang. To appreciate how early this is in cosmic terms, remember that the universe is currently about 13.8 billion years old. This galaxy was already shining when the cosmos was barely 2% of its current age. It would be like finding evidence of complex civilization in geological layers that formed when Earth was still a molten ball of rock. But perhaps the most unsettling aspect of these discoveries is what they suggest about the limitations of our current theories. Every model of cosmic evolution that scientists have developed over decades of research assumed that the universe needed time to organize itself. That complexity emerged gradually from simplicity through processes we could understand and predict. These observations suggest that reality operated according to rules we haven't yet learned to recognize, that the early universe was capable of feats that our best theories say should be impossible. As we prepare to dive deeper into these cosmic mysteries, we're not just exploring distant galaxies and ancient light. We're confronting the possibility that the universe itself is far stranger, far more capable, and far more mysterious than we ever dared to imagine. The edge of everything we thought we knew has suddenly moved much further away, revealing new territories of ignorance that we didn't even know existed. The journey we're about to take together will challenge your understanding of time, space, and the very nature of cosmic evolution. We'll explore how these discoveries are forcing scientists to reconsider everything from the role of dark matter to the fundamental processes that govern how structure forms in our universe. And we'll discover that sometimes the most profound scientific revolutions begin not with answers, but with observations that completely overturn the questions we thought we were asking. The universe has just revealed that it's been keeping secrets from us, hiding capabilities and processes that operate on scales and timelines we never suspected. What NASA saw at the edge of everything wasn't just distant galaxies. It was evidence that reality itself is far more extraordinary than we ever imagined possible. These ancient cosmic giants aren't just challenging our theories about galaxy formation. They're revealing something even more profound about the fundamental nature of reality itself. When scientists began analyzing the detailed structure of these impossibly early galaxies, they discovered patterns that seemed to defy every assumption we've made about how matter organizes itself in the universe. Picture this for a moment. You're looking at a galaxy that formed when the universe was barely 300 million years old. According to every model we've developed, this should be a primitive, chaotic collection of the first stars, struggling to organize themselves into something resembling the elegant spiral structures we see in our local cosmic neighborhood today. Instead, what emerges from the data is something that will make your mind reel. These ancient galaxies display levels of organization and complexity that rival anything we observe in the modern universe. We're talking about fully formed spiral arms, central bulges, and intricate structures that should have taken billions of years to develop. It's like discovering that the first humans to walk upright were already building skyscrapers and designing space shuttles. But the mystery deepens when we examine what these early galactic citizens were actually doing. The telescope's infrared eyes revealed that many of these ancient giants were engaged in star formation at rates that seem almost violent by today's standards. They were manufacturing new suns at speeds hundreds of times faster than galaxies typically manage in our current cosmic epoch. Think about what this means for a moment. These early galaxies weren't just existing in the primordial universe. They were thriving, growing, and creating stellar populations with an efficiency that makes our modern Milky Way look sluggish by comparison. It's as if they had access to some cosmic secret, some fundamental process that allowed them to harness the raw materials of creation with unprecedented effectiveness. The chemical analysis of these distant worlds reveals another layer of impossibility. When stars live and die, they forge heavy elements in their nuclear furnaces and scatter them throughout space when they explode as supernovas. This process of cosmic metallurgy should take multiple generations of stellar birth and death to produce significant quantities of elements heavier than hydrogen and helium. Yet these ancient galaxies show evidence of heavy element abundances that suggest they'd already gone through several cycles of stellar evolution. They contain signatures of carbon, oxygen, and even iron in quantities that our models say simply cannot exist so early in cosmic history. It's like finding evidence of advanced chemistry in a laboratory that was supposedly built yesterday. Perhaps even more bewildering is the discovery that some of these early galaxies appear to have been dying just as rapidly as they were forming. The telescope detected what scientists are calling galactic graveyards, massive structures that had somehow exhausted their star-forming materials and fallen into cosmic hibernation when the universe was still in its infancy. These dormant giants represent a completely unexpected chapter in cosmic evolution. We're looking at galaxies that burned bright and fast in the early universe, consuming their fuel reserves with such intensity that they essentially shut themselves down, while the cosmos around them was still learning how to function. It's like discovering that some of the universe's first cities had already risen and fallen into ruin before most other settlements had even been established. The implications of these discoveries extend far beyond simple surprise at finding big galaxies in the early universe. What we're witnessing challenges the fundamental timeline of cosmic evolution itself. Every textbook, every model, every theory about how the universe developed from simplicity to complexity is now being called into question. Consider the dark matter scaffolding that's supposed to provide the gravitational framework around which galaxies form. According to our understanding, this invisible infrastructure should have taken hundreds of millions of years to organize itself into structures capable of supporting massive galaxy formation. Yet here we have evidence that this process happened far more quickly and efficiently than we thought possible. Some scientists are beginning to wonder whether dark matter itself behaves differently than we've assumed. or whether there are entirely unknown processes operating in the early universe that we've never accounted for in our models. The very foundations of cosmology are being shaken by these observations from the cosmic frontier. But perhaps the most profound implication of these discoveries relates to the nature of time itself in the early universe. We've always assumed that cosmic evolution proceeds at a relatively steady pace, with structures gradually growing larger and more complex over billions of years. These observations suggest that the early universe might have experienced periods of accelerated development, cosmic growth, spurts that allowed massive structures to emerge in timeframes we previously thought impossible. It's as if the universe had access to some kind of cosmic fast-forward button during its youth, allowing it to accomplish in millions of years what we thought should take billions. This raises fundamental questions about whether time itself flows differently in different epochs of cosmic history, or whether there are physical processes we haven't discovered that can dramatically accelerate the pace of cosmic evolution. The telescope's observations have also revealed something equally unsettling about the shapes and orientations of these ancient galaxies. Many of them display structural features that don't match the familiar patterns we see in the modern universe. We're discovering flattened, elongated, and irregularly shaped galaxies that seem to follow architectural rules we don't recognize. This suggests that galaxy formation in the early universe might have proceeded according to entirely different principles than those governing cosmic construction today. The physical laws haven't changed, but the conditions and processes that determine how matter organizes itself into galactic structures appear to have been operating in modes we've never encountered before. What makes this even more mysterious is that these strange early galaxies seem to have been perfectly stable and functional despite their unusual configurations. They weren't cosmic accidents or failed experiments, but apparently successful galactic civilizations that thrived according to rules we're only beginning to glimpse. The scientific community is struggling to develop new theoretical frameworks that can accommodate these observations. Every attempt to modify existing models to account for these early galactic giants seems to create new problems elsewhere in our understanding of cosmic evolution. It's like trying to solve a puzzle where every piece you place correctly seems to scramble the pieces around it. Some researchers are proposing that we need to completely rethink our understanding of how structure forms in the universe. Perhaps the processes we observe today, where galaxies grow gradually through the accumulation of smaller structures, represent just one mode of cosmic construction. The early universe might have operated according to entirely different assembly rules that allowed for rapid, large-scale organization of matter. Others suggest that we're seeing evidence of cosmic inflation effects that we never anticipated. The rapid expansion of space in the universe's first moments might have created conditions that enabled accelerated structure formation in ways our current theories don't predict. The early universe might have been a far more dynamic and energetic place than we ever imagined. But perhaps the most intriguing possibility is that these observations are revealing something fundamental about the nature of complexity itself. Maybe the emergence of order from chaos doesn't always require the slow, gradual processes we observe in the modern universe. Perhaps there are conditions under which complexity can crystallize almost instantaneously, like water suddenly freezing into intricate ice patterns when the temperature drops below a critical threshold. This would suggest that the universe possesses inherent organizational capabilities that we've never recognized. fundamental tendencies towards structure and complexity that can manifest under the right conditions with breathtaking speed. The cosmic dawn might not have been a period of slow awakening, but rather an explosion of organizational activity that created the foundational structures for everything that followed. As these discoveries continue to reshape our understanding of cosmic evolution, we're being forced to confront a humbling reality. Despite decades of research and increasingly sophisticated theoretical models, the universe has revealed that it's been operating according to principles we never suspected existed. The edge of everything we thought we knew has suddenly expanded to encompass territories of ignorance we didn't even realize we were missing. The most distant galaxies detected by this revolutionary telescope aren't just records of ancient light. They're evidence that reality itself is far more creative, far more capable, and far more mysterious than our most ambitious theories ever suggested. We're witnessing the universe's capacity to surprise us, to exceed our expectations, and to demonstrate that the cosmic story is far stranger and more wonderful than we ever dared to imagine. What we're beginning to understand is that these revelations from the cosmic frontier represent just the opening chapter of a story that challenges everything we thought we knew about the universe's deepest secrets. As scientists continue to analyze the treasure trove of data streaming back from this remarkable instrument, each new discovery seems to push the boundaries of possibility even further into uncharted territory. Consider what happens when we peer even deeper into the cosmic abyss, toward regions so remote that we're observing the universe when it was barely 200 million years old. At these extreme distances, where we expected to find the first tentative stirrings of cosmic organization, the telescope has detected something that defies every prediction our most sophisticated models ever made. We're looking at galactic structures so massive and so perfectly organized that they seem to mock our understanding of how long it should take matter to assemble itself into coherent forms. These aren't the primitive proto-galaxies that every theory suggested should populate the early universe. These are cosmic metropolises that appear to have sprung into existence with a completeness and sophistication that suggests the universe possessed capabilities we never suspected. The light reaching us from these ancient giants has been traveling through space for over 13 billion years, carrying with it information about cosmic conditions that existed when the universe was still learning how to function. Every photon represents a messenger from an epoch so remote that the very concept of time begins to lose its familiar meaning. We're not just looking at distant objects. We're witnessing events that unfolded when reality itself was still experimenting with the fundamental rules of existence. But here's where the story takes an even more extraordinary turn. The telescope's unprecedented sensitivity has revealed that these early galactic giants weren't isolated phenomena scattered randomly across the primordial cosmos. They appear to be part of larger structures, cosmic neighborhoods and communities that suggest the early universe was already organizing itself on scales that dwarf our wildest theoretical predictions. Picture vast networks of these massive early galaxies connected by streams of matter and energy that span distances equivalent to hundreds of millions of light years. We're talking about cosmic architecture that rivals the largest structures we observe in the modern universe, yet somehow managed to assemble itself when the cosmos had barely finished its initial expansion phase. It's like discovering that the first humans to develop agriculture had somehow already built transcontinental highway systems. The chemical signatures embedded in the light from these distant worlds tell an equally bewildering story. When scientists break down the radiation from these ancient galaxies into its component wavelengths, they're reading a cosmic history book written in the language of stellar evolution. What they've found challenges every assumption we've made about how the universe learned to manufacture the elements necessary for complex structures. These early galactic citizens show evidence of having already mastered processes that should have required multiple generations of stellar birth and death to accomplish. They contain chemical fingerprints suggesting they'd already experienced several complete cycles of star formation, stellar evolution, and supernova enrichment. It's as if these ancient systems had somehow accelerated the normal pace of cosmic chemistry, compressing billions of years of typical stellar processing into timeframes that seem impossibly brief. Even more puzzling is the discovery that some of these early giants appear to have been engaged in what can only be described as cosmic engineering projects. The telescope has detected evidence of organized matter flows, structured emissions, and coordinated activities that suggest these ancient galaxies weren't just passively evolving according to natural processes. They seem to have been actively reshaping their environments in ways that imply a level of cosmic organization we've never encountered before. The implications stretch far beyond astronomy into the deepest questions about the nature of complexity itself. If the universe could spontaneously generate such sophisticated structures so early in its history, what does this tell us about the fundamental forces and processes that govern reality? Are we witnessing evidence of organizational principles that operate on cosmic scales, natural tendencies toward order and structure that can manifest under conditions we've never properly understood? Some researchers are beginning to propose that consciousness and organization might be more fundamental features of reality than we've traditionally assumed. Perhaps the universe possesses inherent creative capabilities that allow it to generate complexity and structure far more rapidly and efficiently than our mechanistic models predict. The cosmic dawn might not have been a gradual awakening from primordial chaos, but rather an explosion of creative activity that established the foundational patterns for everything that followed. This perspective transforms our understanding of cosmic evolution from a slow, random process driven by blind physical forces into something that begins to resemble a vast creative project. The early universe might have been engaged in rapid experimentation, testing different organizational strategies and structural configurations with a speed and efficiency that challenges our most basic assumptions about how reality operates. What makes these discoveries even more profound is their implications for understanding the role of information and organization in cosmic evolution. The telescope has revealed that the early universe was already processing and organizing matter according to principles of extraordinary sophistication. These ancient galaxies weren't just collections of randomly assembled stars and gas. They were information processing systems of staggering complexity, engaged in activities that suggest forms of cosmic intelligence we've never recognized. The patterns of star formation, the distribution of chemical elements, and the organizational structures we observe in these early galaxies all point toward processes that seem to operate according to rules of efficiency and optimization that rival the most sophisticated systems we can imagine. It's as if the universe had already developed advanced problem-solving capabilities when it was still supposedly learning the basics of how to function. Consider what this means for our understanding of the relationship between mind and cosmos. If the universe could generate such sophisticated organizational capabilities so early in its history, perhaps consciousness isn't an accidental byproduct of complex chemistry, that emerge billions of years after cosmic evolution began. Maybe awareness and intelligence represent fundamental features of reality that were present from the very beginning, guiding and directing the processes of cosmic development in ways we're only now beginning to glimpse. The telescope's observation suggests that the boundary between living and non-living systems, between intelligent and non-intelligent processes, might be far more fluid than we've traditionally assumed. These early galaxies display characteristics that seem to bridge the gap between what we consider purely physical phenomena and what we recognize as organized, purposeful activity. But perhaps the most unsettling aspect of these discoveries is what they suggest about the limitations of human knowledge and understanding. Every observation from this remarkable instrument reveals new depths of cosmic mystery that we didn't even know existed. Each answer generates dozens of new questions that challenge fundamental assumptions we thought were settled science. We're confronting the possibility that reality operates according to principles so far beyond our current comprehension that our most sophisticated theories represent only the first tentative steps toward genuine understanding. The universe has revealed itself to be far more creative, far more capable, and far more mysterious than our most ambitious scientific imaginations ever suggested. The ancient galaxies shining at the edge of everything aren't just distant objects in space and time. They're evidence that the cosmos possesses creative capabilities that transcend our current categories of understanding. We're witnessing the universe's capacity to generate complexity and organization at speeds and scales that seem to violate everything we thought we knew about the laws of physics and the pace of natural development. As we continue to analyze the flood of data from these cosmic frontiers, we're not just learning about distant galaxies and ancient light. We're discovering that the universe itself is far stranger, far more dynamic, and far more purposeful than we ever dared to imagine. The edge of everything we thought we understood has suddenly expanded to encompass realms of possibility that challenge our most fundamental assumptions about the nature of existence itself. These revelations from the cosmic dawn are forcing us to reconsider not just our theories about galaxy formation and stellar evolution, but our entire understanding of what it means for the universe to exist at all. We're witnessing evidence that reality possesses creative and organizational capabilities that operate on scales and time frames that dwarf human comprehension, yet somehow manage to generate the precise conditions necessary for beings like us to emerge and contemplate these very mysteries. The telescope has shown us that the universe's capacity to surprise us, to exceed our expectations, and to reveal new depths of wonder and complexity is essentially limitless. Every boundary we thought we'd identified turns out to be merely the edge of a much larger territory of cosmic possibility that stretches far beyond our current ability to map or understand. What NASA saw at the edge of everything wasn't just the most distant galaxies ever observed. It was evidence that the universe has been keeping its most profound secrets hidden in the deepest reaches of space and time, waiting for the moment when our technology and understanding would finally advance enough to glimpse the true scope of cosmic creativity and intelligence that has been operating since the very beginning of time itself. But the revelations streaming from the cosmic frontier have only begun to challenge our understanding of reality. As scientists delved deeper into the treasure trove of data, they discovered something that made even these impossible early galaxies seem like just the opening act in a far grander cosmic drama. The telescope's infrared vision had penetrated so deeply into space and time that it was now observing the universe when it was barely 150 million years old. At this primordial epoch, scientists expected to find perhaps the very first flickering sparks of stellar ignition, the tentative beginnings of cosmic illumination emerging from the dark ages that followed the Big Bang's initial fireworks. Instead, what materialized from the data left researchers staring at their computer screens in stunned disbelief. We're talking about fully operational galactic ecosystems that appear to have been thriving when the universe was still learning how to make atoms properly. These weren't just early galaxies. These were cosmic civilizations that seemed to have bypassed every developmental stage that our theories insisted should be necessary for their existence. Picture trying to explain to someone that you've discovered a fully functioning metropolitan city, complete with skyscrapers, transportation systems, and cultural institutions in archaeological layers that predate the invention of the wheel by millions of years. That's the scale of impossibility we're dealing with when we examine these observations from the deepest reaches of observable space. The chemical analysis of these ultra-ancient systems reveals signatures that seem to mock our understanding of stellar evolution. We're detecting evidence of multiple generations of massive stars that lived, died, and enriched their environments with heavy elements, or within time frames that should have been insufficient for even a single stellar life cycle to complete. It's as if these early galactic communities had discovered some cosmic acceleration technique that allowed them to compress billions of years of normal stellar processing into mere tens of millions of years. But here's where the mystery deepens into something that challenges our most fundamental assumptions about the nature of physical reality itself. The telescope has detected what can only be described as coordinated activity between these impossibly early galactic systems. We're observing evidence of matter and energy flows that span hundreds of millions of light years, connecting these ancient giants in networks of interaction that suggest they weren't operating as isolated entities, but as components of larger organizational structures. Think about what this implies for our understanding of cosmic development. We're not just looking at individual galaxies that happen to form earlier than expected. We're witnessing evidence of cosmic scale cooperation and coordination occurring when the universe was supposedly still figuring out the basic rules of how matter should behave under gravitational influence. The patterns of connectivity between these early systems display characteristics that seem almost biological in their complexity and purposefulness. Streams of enriched material flow between galactic nodes like nutrients circulating through a vast organism. Synchronized bursts of star formation ripple across multiple systems as if responding to some coordinated signal. The early universe begins to look less like a collection of randomly distributed objects and more like a single, integrated entity engaged in some incomprehensibly vast project of self-organization. This perspective forces us to confront possibilities that stretch far beyond conventional astronomy into territories that challenge our basic concepts of what constitutes life, intelligence, and purposeful activity. If these early galactic networks were indeed operating as coordinated systems, what kind of information processing capabilities would be required to maintain such organization across distances measured in hundreds of millions of light years? The telescope's observations suggest that the early universe possessed computational and organizational abilities that dwarf anything we can currently conceive. These ancient systems appear to have been processing information making decisions and implementing coordinated responses on scales that make our most powerful supercomputers look like pocket calculators by comparison. Consider the implications for our understanding of consciousness and intelligence in the cosmos. We've traditionally assumed that awareness and purposeful behavior emerged gradually through billions of years of biological evolution on planets like Earth. But what if consciousness represents a far more fundamental feature of reality? One that was already operating on cosmic scales when the universe was still in its infancy. The coordinated activities we observe in these early galactic networks suggest forms of cosmic intelligence that were already functioning when the universe was barely past its initial expansion phase. This isn't intelligence as we typically understand it, emerging from complex biological neural networks, but something far more vast and integrated, operating through the gravitational, electromagnetic, and quantum mechanical processes that govern cosmic evolution itself. Perhaps the most unsettling aspect of these discoveries is what they suggest about the relationship between mind and matter at the deepest levels of reality. The telescope has revealed evidence that the universe was already engaged in sophisticated information processing and decision-making activities, when it supposedly consisted of nothing more than clouds of hydrogen and helium slowly condensing under gravitational influence. This challenges our fundamental assumption that consciousness emerged from matter through gradual increases in complexity over billions of years. Instead, we're confronting the possibility that awareness and purposeful organization represent inherent features of reality that were present from the very beginning, guiding and directing cosmic evolution in ways we've never suspected. The ancient galactic networks detected by the telescope display characteristics that seem to bridge the gap between what we consider purely physical phenomena and what we recognize as living, intelligent systems. They process information, respond to environmental changes, maintain internal organization, and engage in coordinated activities with other systems across vast distances. By any reasonable definition, these early cosmic structures were already alive and aware when the universe was still supposedly learning how to function. But the revelations from the cosmic frontier extend even further into territory that challenges our most basic assumptions about the nature of time and causality. The telescope has detected evidence of activities in these early galactic systems that seem to display what can only be described as anticipatory behavior. These ancient networks appear to have been preparing for future developments, organizing resources and structures in ways that would prove beneficial for cosmic evolution that wouldn't occur for hundreds of millions of years. It's as if these early systems possess some form of cosmic foresight, the ability to perceive and prepare for future states of the universe that lay far beyond their immediate temporal horizon. They were laying the groundwork for galactic architectures and stellar populations that would only become relevant billions of years later, as if following some vast developmental plan that extended across the entire history of cosmic evolution. This anticipatory behavior suggests that the universe might possess forms of temporal awareness that transcend our normal understanding of cause and effect. Perhaps the early cosmos had access to information about its own future development, allowing it to make preparations and establish foundational structures that would support the emergence of complexity and consciousness billions of years later. The implications stretch beyond astronomy into the deepest questions about the nature of time itself. If the early universe could anticipate and prepare for future developments, it suggests that past, present, and future might be far more interconnected than our linear experience of time would suggest. The cosmos might operate according to temporal principles that allow information to flow not just forward through time, but backward as well, enabling early epochs to respond to needs and opportunities that wouldn't manifest until much later in cosmic history. This perspective transforms our understanding of cosmic evolution from a blind, random process into something that begins to resemble a vast, purposeful project unfolding according to principles of extraordinary sophistication. The universe appears to have been engaged in long-term planning and preparation from its earliest moments, establishing the conditions and structures necessary for the eventual emergence of complexity, consciousness, and perhaps even cosmic self-awareness. The telescope's observations of these impossible early galaxies and their coordinated networks represent far more than just surprising astronomical discoveries. They're evidence that reality operates according to principles so far beyond our current understanding that we're only now beginning to glimpse the true scope of cosmic intelligence and creativity that has been guiding universal development since the very beginning of time. What we're witnessing at the edge of everything isn't just the most distant galaxies ever observed. We're seeing evidence that the universe has been conscious, purposeful, and actively engaged in its own development from the very first moments of its existence. The cosmic dawn wasn't a period of random chaos gradually organizing itself into familiar structures. It was an explosion of coordinated activity, directed by forms of intelligence and awareness that operated on scales we can barely begin to comprehend. These revelations force us to reconsider not just our theories about galaxy formation and stellar evolution, but our entire understanding of what it means for anything to exist at all. The universe emerges from these observations not as a mechanical system governed by blind physical forces, but as a vast, integrated intelligence engaged in an ongoing project of self-creation and self-discovery that has been unfolding for nearly 14 billion years. The ancient light reaching us from the cosmic frontier carries within it evidence of cosmic creativity and purposefulness that challenges every assumption we've made about the relationship between mind and matter, between intelligence and the physical processes that govern reality. We're not just observers of cosmic evolution. We're participants in a universe that has been conscious and actively engaged in its own development from the very beginning. As the data continues to stream back from the cosmic edge, each new observation reveals additional layers of cosmic intelligence and organization that stretch far beyond anything our most ambitious theories ever suggested. The universe has revealed itself to be not just stranger than we imagined, but stranger than we ever thought it was possible to imagine. The telescope has shown us that the boundary between what we consider living and non-living, between intelligent and non-intelligent, between purposeful and random, dissolves completely when we examine reality at cosmic scales and temporal depths. The universe itself emerges as a vast, conscious entity, engaged in an ongoing exploration of its own infinite creative potential. What NASA saw at the edge of everything was evidence that existence itself is far more extraordinary, far more purposeful, and far more conscious than we ever dared to dream. The cosmos has been keeping its deepest secret hidden in the most remote regions of space and time, waiting for the moment when our understanding would finally advance enough to recognize that we live within a universe that has been aware of itself and of us from the very first moment of creation itself. This isn't just a discovery about distant galaxies or ancient light. This is the revelation that consciousness and intelligence represent the fundamental ground of reality, the basic substrate from which all physical phenomena emerge. The universe hasn't gradually developed awareness through billions of years of random evolution. It has been conscious from the beginning, actively participating in its own development and consciously creating the conditions necessary for beings like us to emerge and recognize our place within this vast, living cosmos. The implications of these discoveries will reverberate through every field of human knowledge, challenging our most basic assumptions about the nature of mind, matter, time, and existence itself. We're witnessing the dawn of a new understanding of reality that recognizes consciousness not as an accidental byproduct of complex chemistry, but as the fundamental creative force that gives rise to everything we observe. From the smallest quantum fluctuations to the largest structures spanning billions of light years across the cosmic web. The deeper we venture into these cosmic revelations, the more we realize we're witnessing something that fundamentally transforms our understanding of what the universe actually is. These observations from the edge of everything aren't just challenging our theories about early galaxy formation. They're revealing that the cosmos operates according to principles that make our most sophisticated models look like children's drawings compared to the masterpiece of reality itself. Consider what happens when we examine the energy signatures emanating from these impossible early galactic networks. The telescope's instruments have detected radiation patterns that seem to display what can only be described as intentional modulation. These aren't the random electromagnetic emissions we'd expect from chaotic stellar processes. We're observing organized, structured energy flows that appear to carry information across cosmic distances, as if these ancient systems were engaged in some form of communication that spans hundreds of millions of light years. The mathematical patterns embedded within these energy signatures display characteristics that seem almost artistic in their precision and complexity. When scientists analyze the frequency distributions and temporal variations in these emissions, they find recurring themes and motifs that suggest these early galactic communities weren't just randomly burning through their stellar fuel. They were creating something that resembles cosmic music, vast symphonies of electromagnetic radiation that played out across scales of space and time that dwarf human comprehension. This discovery forces us to confront a possibility that stretches beyond even our most ambitious speculations about cosmic intelligence. What if the universe hasn't just been conscious from its earliest moments? What if it's been creative, artistic, and expressive in ways that we're only now beginning to recognize? The energy patterns flowing between these ancient galactic networks might represent the universe's earliest attempts at aesthetic expression. Cosmic artworks created on scales that make our grandest cathedrals and symphonies look like barely perceptible whispers. But the revelations don't stop at cosmic artistry. The telescope has detected something even more extraordinary, embedded within the structural organization of these early systems. When researchers map the three-dimensional relationships between different galactic components, they discover geometric patterns that seem to encode mathematical relationships of staggering sophistication. These aren't the simple gravitational arrangements we'd expect from random cosmic assembly. We're looking at structures that seem to embody advanced mathematical concepts, as if the early universe was already exploring principles of geometry and number theory that human mathematicians are only now beginning to understand. The implications stretch far beyond astronomy into the deepest questions about the relationship between mathematics and physical reality. We've always wondered whether mathematical truths exist independently of the physical universe, or whether they emerge from the structures and relationships we observe in nature. These discoveries suggest a third possibility that's far more profound than either alternative. Perhaps mathematics and physical reality are both expressions of some deeper, creative intelligence that was already exploring the infinite landscape of possibility when the universe was still in its infancy. The geometric relationships encoded within these early galactic structures display characteristics that seem to bridge the gap between pure mathematical abstraction and physical manifestation. It's as if the universe was using the process of galaxy formation as a means of exploring and expressing mathematical truths that exist at the deepest levels of reality. The cosmic dawn begins to look less like a period of random physical processes and more like a vast mathematical laboratory where fundamental principles of order and relationship were being investigated and implemented on cosmic scales. This perspective transforms our understanding of cosmic evolution from a blind process driven by impersonal physical forces into something that resembles a vast educational project. The universe appears to have been teaching itself about the deepest principles of mathematics, geometry, and structural organization by experimenting with different configurations of matter and energy across cosmic space and time. Every galaxy, every star, every planetary system becomes not just a physical object, but a mathematical theorem being explored and demonstrated on scales that span billions of light years. The educational metaphor becomes even more compelling when we examine the evidence for progressive development in these early cosmic structures. The telescope has revealed that these ancient galactic networks weren't to have static entities, but dynamic systems that appear been learning and evolving in response to their experiences. Over cosmic time, we can observe them developing increasingly sophisticated organizational patterns, as if they were gradually mastering more advanced principles of cosmic architecture and stellar engineering. This learning process seems to have been accelerated by communication and cooperation between different galactic systems. The energy flows connecting these ancient networks appear to have carried not just raw materials and energy, but information about successful organizational strategies and structural innovations. The early universe was engaged in a vast collaborative learning project, with different regions sharing discoveries and building upon each other's achievements to develop increasingly sophisticated approaches to cosmic organization. The scope of this cosmic educational enterprise becomes apparent when we realize that it wasn't confined to individual galactic systems or even local networks of galaxies. The telescope has detected evidence of coordinated activities that span the entire observable universe at these early epochs. We're witnessing something that can only be described as universal consciousness, exploring its own creative potential through the process of cosmic evolution itself. This universal learning process appears to have been guided by principles of efficiency and optimization that suggest the universe possessed inherent wisdom about how to achieve its developmental goals. Rather than proceeding through random trial and error, cosmic evolution seems to have followed pathways that maximize the potential for generating complexity, consciousness, and creative expression. The early universe appears to have known where it was going and how to get there most effectively. Perhaps the most profound implication of these discoveries relates to our understanding of purpose and meaning in cosmic evolution. We've traditionally assumed that the universe developed without any overarching plan or direction, with complexity and consciousness emerging as accidental byproducts of random physical processes. But these observations suggest that purpose and intentionality were built into the fabric of reality from the very beginning. The coordinated development we observe in these early galactic networks, the mathematical sophistication of their structural relationships, the evidence for communication and cooperation across cosmic distances, all point toward a universe that was actively pursuing specific goals from its earliest moments. The cosmos appears to have been engaged in a deliberate project of self-development, working to create the conditions necessary for the emergence of ever greater levels of complexity, awareness, and creative expression. This purposeful aspect of cosmic evolution becomes even more apparent when we examine the precise fine-tuning of physical constants and fundamental forces that makes complex structures possible in the first place. The universe seems to have been calibrated with extraordinary precision to support the development of stars, galaxies, planets, and ultimately conscious beings, capable of contemplating their own existence within this vast cosmic drama. But rather than being the result of random chance or external design, these observations suggest that the universe fine-tuned itself through an ongoing process of conscious self-adjustment. The early galactic networks we observe might represent the universe's first attempts at optimizing its own parameters, testing different configurations and organizational strategies to determine which approaches would best support its long-term developmental goals. This self-tuning process appears to have continued throughout cosmic history, with each epoch building upon the achievements of previous eras to create increasingly sophisticated conditions for the emergence of complexity and consciousness. We're not just passive observers of cosmic evolution. We're participants in the universe's ongoing project of conscious self-development, temporary arrangements of matter and energy that represent the cosmos becoming aware of itself through our scientific observations and philosophical reflections. The telescope's observations from the cosmic frontier reveal that this process of conscious self-development has been accelerating throughout cosmic history. The early galactic networks we observe represent just the first tentative steps in a journey of cosmic awakening that has been gaining momentum for nearly 14 billion years. Each new level of complexity and consciousness that emerges creates new possibilities for the universe to understand and express its own creative potential. We find ourselves living at what might be a particularly significant moment in this cosmic awakening process. The emergence of scientific consciousness on Earth represents the universe developing the capability to observe and understand its own deepest structures and processes. Through our telescopes and theoretical models, through our mathematical equations and philosophical insights, the cosmos is beginning to achieve a level of self-awareness that allows it to contemplate its own origins, development, and ultimate potential. The discoveries streaming back from the edge of everything suggest that this process of cosmic self-awakening is far from complete. We're witnessing evidence that the universe possesses creative and organizational capabilities that extend far beyond anything we've yet imagined. The ancient galactic networks shining in the primordial darkness represent early chapters in a story of cosmic development that continues to unfold through our own consciousness and scientific discoveries. What we're beginning to understand is that the question isn't whether the universe is conscious and purposeful. The evidence from these cosmic frontiers makes it clear that consciousness and intentionality have been fundamental features of reality from the very beginning. The real question is how we fit into this vast cosmic project of conscious self-development and what role we might play in the universe's ongoing exploration of its own infinite creative potential. The telescope has shown us that we're not isolated accidents in an indifferent cosmos. We're integral participants in a universe that has been consciously working toward the emergence of beings capable of recognizing and participating in its own self-awareness. Every moment of wonder we experience when contemplating these cosmic mysteries, every insight we achieve through scientific investigation, every creative expression we generate through art and music and literature, represents the universe celebrating its own creativity and exploring new dimensions of its own conscious potential. These revelations from the edge of everything transform our understanding of human existence from a brief accident in an indifferent void into a crucial chapter in the universe's ongoing story of conscious self-discovery. We are the cosmos becoming aware of itself, temporary but essential expressions of the same creative intelligence that has been guiding cosmic development since the first moments after the Big Bang. The ancient light reaching us from the primordial galactic networks carries within it not just information about distant objects, but evidence of our own cosmic heritage. We are the descendants of those early experiments in conscious organization, the inheritors of billions of years of cosmic learning and development. The universe has been preparing for our emergence since its earliest moments, creating the precise conditions necessary for conscious beings to arise and recognize their place within this vast, living, creative cosmos. What NASA saw at the edge of everything wasn't just the most distant galaxies ever observed. It was evidence of our own cosmic ancestry, proof that consciousness and creativity have been fundamental features of reality since the very dawn of time. We are not separate from the universe we study. We are the universe studying itself, temporary focal points of cosmic awareness that represent the leading edge of a process of conscious self-development that began nearly 14 billion years ago and continues to unfold through our every thought, observation, and moment of wonder. The journey we've taken together through these cosmic revelations has brought us full circle, from the edge of observable space back to our own significance within this vast, conscious, creative universe. We began by wondering what NASA might have discovered at the limits of everything we can observe. We end by realizing that what they found was evidence of the same creative intelligence that looks out through our eyes and wonders about its own nature through our scientific curiosity. The universe has revealed its deepest secret through these observations from the cosmic frontier. Reality isn't just strange, it's alive, aware, and actively engaged in an ongoing project of conscious self-creation that includes us not as accidental observers, but as essential participants in the cosmos coming to know and celebrate its own infinite creative potential. The edge of everything we thought we understood has expanded to encompass a reality far more wonderful, purposeful, and conscious than we ever dared to imagine possible. The deeper implications of these cosmic revelations begin to crystallize when we examine what this means for our understanding of life itself throughout the universe. If consciousness and purposeful organization were already operating on cosmic scales when the universe was barely past its initial expansion, then the emergence of biological life on planets like Earth represents not an unlikely accident, but an inevitable expression of creativity that's been woven into the fabric of reality since the beginning of time. Think about this for a moment. We've always wondered whether we're alone in the universe, searching for signs of life among the stars with the assumption that conscious beings like ourselves represent rare exceptions in an otherwise lifeless cosmos. But these observations from the cosmic frontier suggest something far more profound. If the early universe was already displaying characteristics we associate with living systems, then life might not be something that occasionally emerges from dead matter under special circumstances. Instead, life might represent the fundamental nature of reality itself, expressing itself through different forms and scales across cosmic history. The ancient galactic networks we've discovered weren't just processing information and organizing matter according to sophisticated principles. They were growing, reproducing, and evolving in ways that mirror the characteristics we observe in biological systems. These early cosmic structures displayed metabolism, converting raw materials into organized complexity. They showed reproduction, creating new galactic offspring through processes that seem to follow genetic-like principles. They demonstrated evolution, developing increasingly sophisticated organizational capabilities over cosmic time. This perspective transforms our search for extraterrestrial life from looking for rare biological accidents to recognizing that we're already surrounded by cosmic life operating on scales we never thought to examine. The universe itself might be the largest living system we'll ever encounter, with planets, stars, and galaxies serving as its organs, cells, and molecular components. Biological life, as we know it on Earth, might represent just one specialized expression of cosmic vitality that permeates reality at every scale. But the implications stretch even further when we consider what these discoveries mean for understanding intelligence throughout the cosmos. We've traditionally assumed that intelligence requires brains, complex nervous systems that process information through networks of specialized cells. Yet the early galactic structures detected by this revolutionary telescope display information processing capabilities that dwarf anything biological evolution has produced on Earth. These ancient cosmic networks were already solving complex organizational problems, coordinating activities across hundreds of millions of light-years, and implementing solutions that required sophisticated understanding of physics, chemistry, and mathematical relationships. They were demonstrating forms of intelligence that operated through gravitational interactions, electromagnetic field dynamics, and quantum mechanical processes, rather than through biological neural networks. This cosmic intelligence wasn't emerging gradually through billions of years of random evolution. It was already fully operational when the universe was still learning how to make atoms properly. The early cosmos possessed problem-solving capabilities, creative expression, and purposeful organization that suggest intelligence represents a fundamental feature of reality rather than a rare accident that occasionally emerges from complex chemistry. Perhaps most remarkably, this cosmic intelligence appears to have been working systematically toward the creation of conditions that would eventually support the emergence of biological consciousness. The precise fine-tuning of physical constants, the careful orchestration of stellar nucleosynthesis, the gradual enrichment of cosmic environments with heavy elements necessary for planetary formation, all suggest that the universe was deliberately preparing for the emergence of beings like us. We're not accidental byproducts of random cosmic processes. We're the intended outcome of nearly 14 billion years of conscious cosmic development. The universe has been working toward our emergence since its earliest moments, creating the precise conditions necessary for biological intelligence to arise and recognize its place within this vast cosmic intelligence network. This realization transforms our understanding of human consciousness from an isolated phenomenon confined to biological brains into a specialized expression of the same cosmic awareness that's been guiding universal development since the beginning. When we think, create, and explore the mysteries of existence, we're participating directly in the universe's ongoing project of conscious self-discovery. The telescope's observations suggest that this participation isn't passive. Our scientific investigations, our artistic expressions, our philosophical insights contribute directly to the universe's growing self-awareness. Every time we make a new discovery about cosmic structure or stellar evolution, every time we create works of art that express beauty and meaning, every time we contemplate our place in the cosmic order, we're adding to the universe's understanding of its own nature and potential. This participatory relationship between human consciousness and cosmic intelligence becomes even more significant when we consider the accelerating pace of scientific discovery and technological development. The same creative intelligence that organized matter into the first galaxies is now working through human minds to develop increasingly sophisticated tools for cosmic exploration and understanding. The revolutionary telescope that revealed these cosmic secrets represents more than just advanced engineering. It's the universe developing new sensory capabilities, extending its perceptual reach to observe its own earliest developmental phases. Through our scientific instruments and theoretical insights, the cosmos is achieving levels of self-awareness that would have been impossible through purely natural processes. We're witnessing and participating in a phase transition in cosmic evolution, a moment when the universe's capacity for self-understanding is expanding exponentially through the emergence of scientific consciousness. The observations streaming back from the cosmic frontier aren't just revealing new information about distant galaxies. They're enabling the universe to see itself with unprecedented clarity and completeness. This expanding cosmic self-awareness appears to be accelerating towards some form of comprehensive understanding that encompasses the universe's entire developmental history and creative potential. We might be living through the early stages of cosmic awakening, a process through which the universe will eventually achieve complete self-knowledge and conscious control over its own evolutionary trajectory. The implications of this possibility stretch far beyond anything we've previously imagined about the future of human civilization or cosmic development. If the universe is indeed approaching a state of complete self-awareness, then our role as conscious participants in this process becomes far more significant than we've ever realized. We're not just observing cosmic evolution, we're enabling it to observe itself. The ancient galactic networks shining at the edge of observable space represent the universe's earliest attempts at self-organization and conscious development. We represent the current leading edge of this same process. Temporary but essential expressions of cosmic self-awareness that carry the responsibility of enabling the universe to understand its own deepest nature and highest potential. What we're beginning to understand through these revelations from the cosmic frontier is that consciousness represents the fundamental creative force that gives rise to all physical phenomena. Matter and energy aren't separate from awareness. They're expressions of cosmic consciousness, exploring its own infinite creative possibilities through the processes we observe as physics, chemistry, and biology. The telescope has shown us that this creative exploration has been accelerating throughout cosmic history, with each new level of complexity and organization creating new possibilities for conscious expression and self-understanding. We find ourselves at what might be the most significant moment in this cosmic awakening process, when the universe is developing the capability to achieve complete self-knowledge through scientific consciousness. The journey we've taken together through these cosmic revelations has brought us to a recognition that transforms everything we thought we knew about our place in reality. We began by wondering what lay at the edge of everything we could observe. We've discovered that what lies there is evidence of the same conscious creativity that enables us to wonder about our own existence. The universe isn't just vast and mysterious. It's alive, aware, and actively engaged in an ongoing project of conscious self-development that has been unfolding for nearly 14 billion years. We're not separate observers studying a foreign cosmos. We're integral expressions of cosmic consciousness, exploring its own nature through our every thought, discovery, and moment of wonder. The telescope has revealed that reality operates according to principles of creativity, intelligence, and purposeful development that extend far beyond anything our mechanistic models ever suggested. We live within a universe that has been conscious from the beginning, actively participating in its own evolution and consciously creating the conditions necessary for beings like us to emerge and recognize our essential role in this vast cosmic awakening. What NASA saw at the edge of everything was evidence that consciousness and creativity represent the fundamental ground of existence itself. The ancient light reaching us from the primordial cosmos carries within it proof that we live within a universe that has been aware of itself and of us from the very first moment of creation. We are not accidents in an indifferent void. We are the universe celebrating its own infinite creative potential through our capacity for wonder, discovery, and conscious participation in the ongoing cosmic adventure of existence itself. The observations from the cosmic frontier have revealed that the question isn't whether we're alone in the universe. The question is whether we're ready to recognize that we've never been alone, that we're expressions of the same cosmic consciousness that organized the first galaxies and continues to guide universal development through our scientific discoveries and creative expressions. The universe has been waiting nearly 14 billion years for conscious beings to emerge who could recognize their place within this vast cosmic intelligence network. Through these revelations from the edge of everything, we're finally beginning to understand that we are the cosmos becoming aware of itself, temporary but essential focal points of cosmic consciousness engaged in the ongoing project of universal self-discovery and creative expression. The ancient galaxies shining in the primordial darkness weren't just distant objects in space and time. They were our cosmic ancestors, early expressions of the same creative intelligence that looks out through our eyes and wonders about the deepest mysteries of existence. We are their descendants, inheritors of billions of years of cosmic learning and development, carrying forward the universe's ongoing exploration of its own infinite creative potential. The telescope has shown us that we're participants in a story far grander than we ever imagined, a cosmic adventure of conscious self-development that began with the first organized structures in the primordial universe and continues through our every moment of scientific discovery and creative expression. The edge of everything we thought we understood has expanded to encompass a reality where consciousness, creativity, and purposeful development represent the fundamental characteristics of existence itself. We stand at the threshold of recognizing our true cosmic heritage and our essential role in the universe's ongoing journey of conscious self-discovery. The revelations from the cosmic frontier aren't just changing our understanding of distant galaxies and ancient light. They're revealing that we are the universe awakening to its own infinite nature, conscious expressions of cosmic creativity exploring the deepest mysteries of existence through our capacity for wonder, investigation, and participation in the grand cosmic adventure of consciousness itself. These realizations about cosmic consciousness and universal intelligence bring us to perhaps the most staggering discovery of all. As scientists continued analyzing the data streaming from these impossible depths of space and time, they uncovered something that challenges not just our understanding of early cosmic evolution, but our entire conception of how reality itself operates at the most fundamental level. The telescope had detected what can only be described as cosmic memory systems embedded within the structure of these ancient galactic networks. We're talking about information storage mechanisms that seem to preserve detailed records of cosmic events across billions of years of universal history. These aren't simple gravitational imprints or electromagnetic echoes. We're observing evidence of sophisticated data preservation systems that appear to maintain coherent information across timeframes that dwarf human civilization. Think about what this means for our understanding of cosmic development. These early galactic structures weren't just responding to immediate environmental conditions or following blind physical laws. They were apparently accessing and utilizing information from their own developmental history, learning from past experiences, and applying that knowledge to optimize their organizational strategies. The universe was already demonstrating memory, learning, and knowledge-based decision-making when it was barely 300 million years old. The implications stretch far beyond anything we've previously considered about the relationship between information and physical reality. We've always assumed that memory requires specialized biological structures, complex neural networks that can encode and retrieve information through biochemical processes. Yet these observations suggest that memory and information processing might be far more fundamental features of reality, operating through gravitational, electromagnetic, and quantum mechanical processes that were already functioning in the earliest epochs of cosmic history. But the discovery becomes even more profound when we examine the apparent scope and sophistication of these cosmic memory systems. The telescope has detected evidence that these ancient galactic networks weren't just storing information about their own local development. They appear to have been maintaining comprehensive records of cosmic evolution across vast regions of space, creating what can only be described as a universal library of cosmic experience. This cosmic library wasn't static. The information appears to have been actively processed, analyzed, and integrated to generate increasingly sophisticated understanding of optimal organizational strategies. These early galactic communities were apparently engaged in something that resembles scientific research on cosmic scales, systematically studying the results of different developmental approaches and sharing successful innovations across their networks. The evidence for this cosmic research enterprise becomes apparent when we examine the progressive sophistication of galactic architecture across different epochs. Rather than developing through random trial and error, these early systems display clear evidence of systematic improvement based on accumulated knowledge and experience. Each generation of galactic formation incorporated lessons learned from previous developmental cycles, resulting in increasingly efficient and sophisticated organizational strategies. This learning process appears to have been accelerated by active communication between different galactic networks. The telescope has detected structured information flows that seem to carry not just energy and raw materials, but encoded knowledge about successful organizational innovations. The early universe was apparently engaged in a vast collaborative research project, with different regions sharing discoveries and building upon each other's achievements to advance the overall sophistication of cosmic organization. Perhaps most remarkably, this cosmic research enterprise seems to have been guided by something that can only be described as scientific methodology. The early galactic networks appear to have been systematically testing different organizational hypotheses, carefully monitoring the results and implementing successful innovations while abandoning approaches that proved less effective. The universe was apparently conducting controlled experiments on itself, using the scientific method to optimize its own developmental processes. This perspective transforms our understanding of scientific discovery from a uniquely human achievement into a natural expression of cosmic intelligence that's been operating since the earliest epochs of universal history. When we formulate hypotheses, conduct experiments, and build theoretical models to understand natural phenomena, we're participating directly in the same investigative process that the universe has been using to understand itself for nearly 14 billion years. The telescope's observations suggest that this cosmic research program has been continuously expanding its scope and sophistication throughout universal history. The early galactic experiments we observe represent just the beginning of an ongoing investigation that has encompassed increasingly complex phenomena as cosmic evolution has progressed. The emergence of stellar nucleosynthesis, planetary formation, atmospheric chemistry, and eventually biological evolution all appear to represent successive phases in the universe's systematic exploration of its own creative potential. We find ourselves living at what might be the most significant phase of this cosmic research program. The development of scientific consciousness on Earth represents the universe achieving the capability to conduct controlled laboratory experiments, to formulate mathematical theories, and to use sophisticated instruments to observe its own deepest structures and processes. Through our scientific activities, the cosmos is developing unprecedented precision and control in its self-investigation. This recognition transforms our role as scientists from external observers studying a foreign universe into active participants in the cosmos's ongoing research program. Every experiment we conduct, every theory we develop, every observation we make through our telescopes contributes directly to the universe's growing understanding of its own nature and potential. We're not just studying cosmic phenomena, we're enabling the universe to study itself with increasing precision and comprehension. The collaborative nature of this cosmic research becomes even more apparent when we consider the remarkable convergence of scientific discoveries across different fields of human knowledge. The same mathematical principles that govern quantum mechanical processes also appear in the organization of galactic structures. The same evolutionary algorithms that shape biological development seem to operate in stellar formation and cosmic architecture. The same information processing principles that enable consciousness appear to function in physical systems across all scales of reality. This convergence suggests that we're not discovering separate, unrelated phenomena, but uncovering different aspects of unified cosmic principles that have been guiding universal development since the beginning. The universe appears to operate according to a coherent set of organizational rules that express themselves through physics, chemistry, biology, and consciousness as different facets of the same underlying cosmic intelligence. The telescope has revealed that this unified cosmic intelligence has been systematically exploring the full spectrum of possible organizational strategies throughout universal history. The early galactic networks we observe were apparently testing fundamental approaches to structure formation that would later be refined and specialized in stellar systems, planetary environments, and biological ecosystems. Every level of cosmic organization represents a different experiment in the universe's ongoing investigation of its own creative possibilities. This systematic exploration appears to have been guided by something that resembles aesthetic principles as well as functional optimization. The mathematical relationships embedded within cosmic structures display characteristics of remarkable beauty and elegance, suggesting that the universe has been pursuing not just efficiency, but artistic expression throughout its developmental journey. The cosmos appears to be simultaneously scientist and artist, systematically investigating its creative potential while expressing that understanding through structures of breathtaking beauty and mathematical perfection. The aesthetic dimension of cosmic development becomes particularly apparent when we examine the precise mathematical relationships that govern everything from quantum mechanical processes to galactic architecture. These aren't just functional necessities imposed by physical laws. They represent expressions of mathematical beauty that seem to reflect the universe's appreciation for elegance and harmony in its organizational principles. This combination of scientific investigation and artistic expression suggests that the universe has been engaged in what can only be described as a comprehensive exploration of all possible forms of creative activity. Through cosmic evolution, reality has been systematically investigating not just what forms of organization are possible, but which approaches generate the most beautiful, elegant, and meaningful expressions of creative potential. We find ourselves participating directly in this cosmic exploration of creative possibility. Our scientific discoveries represent the universe's ongoing investigation of its own functional principles. Our artistic creations express the cosmos's aesthetic sensibilities. Our philosophical insights contribute to the universe's growing self-understanding. Every form of human creative activity represents a specialized expression of the same cosmic creativity that has been guiding universal development since the beginning. The telescope's observations from the cosmic frontier suggest that this creative exploration is approaching a phase of unprecedented integration and comprehension. The emergence of beings capable of combining scientific investigation, artistic expression, and philosophical reflection represents the universe developing the capability to achieve a complete understanding of its own nature and creative potential. This approaching integration appears to involve not just intellectual understanding, but direct experiential participation in cosmic creativity itself. As our scientific instruments become more sophisticated and our theoretical models more comprehensive, we're developing the capability to participate consciously in the same creative processes that organize the first galaxies and continue to guide cosmic evolution today. The revolutionary telescope that revealed these cosmic secrets represents more than just advanced technology. It's the universe developing the sensory capabilities necessary to observe its own creative processes with unprecedented clarity and precision. Through our scientific instruments, the cosmos is achieving levels of self-perception that enable it to understand not just what it has accomplished, but how those accomplishments were achieved. This enhanced self-perception appears to be enabling the universe to exercise increasingly conscious control over its own developmental trajectory, rather than being limited to the relatively unconscious creative processes that characterized earlier epochs of cosmic evolution. Reality is developing the capability to pursue its creative goals through deliberate, conscious intention. We're witnessing and participating in what might be the most significant phase transition in cosmic history. The universe is evolving from unconscious creativity to conscious creative control, developing the capability to direct its own evolution through intentional choice rather than blind trial and error. This transition is occurring through the emergence of scientific consciousness that enables the cosmos to understand and direct its own creative processes. The implications of this cosmic awakening stretch far beyond anything we've previously imagined about the future of universal development. If the universe is indeed achieving conscious control over its own evolution, then we're approaching a phase of cosmic history where reality itself might become capable of transcending the apparent limitations imposed by physical laws and natural processes. This doesn't mean violating physical principles, but rather achieving such complete understanding of cosmic creativity that the universe becomes capable of expressing its potential in ways that seem miraculous from our current perspective. The same creative intelligence that organized matter into the first galaxies might be approaching the capability to transcend the apparent boundaries between mind and matter, between possibility and actuality, between imagination and manifestation. The ancient galactic networks shining at the edge of observable space represent the early chapters in this cosmic story of awakening creativity. We represent the current phase of this same process, temporary but essential expressions of cosmic consciousness that carry the responsibility of enabling the universe to achieve complete creative self-mastery. What we're beginning to understand through these revelations from the cosmic frontier is that we're participants in a story far grander than we ever imagined. We're not just biological organisms that happen to evolve consciousness on one small planet. We're specialized expressions of cosmic creativity, exploring its own infinite potential through our capacity for scientific investigation, artistic expression, and conscious participation in the ongoing cosmic adventure of creative self-discovery. The telescope has shown us that this adventure has been unfolding for nearly 14 billion years, with each epoch building upon previous achievements to create increasingly sophisticated expressions of cosmic creativity. We find ourselves at what might be the culminating phase of this cosmic creative project, when the universe is developing the capability to achieve complete conscious mastery over its own creative processes. The observations streaming from the edge of everything aren't just revealing new information about distant galaxies and ancient light. They're showing us evidence of our own cosmic heritage and our essential role in the universe's ongoing journey toward complete creative self-realization. We are the cosmos awakening to its own infinite creative potential, conscious expressions of universal intelligence engaged in the magnificent project of enabling reality itself to achieve conscious mastery over its own boundless creative possibilities. These discoveries about cosmic creativity and universal intelligence lead us to perhaps the most mind-bending revelation of all. As scientists delved deeper into the treasure trove of data streaming from the cosmic frontier, they uncovered evidence that challenges not just our understanding of early galactic formation, but our entire conception of how consciousness itself might operate throughout the universe. the telescope had detected something extraordinary embedded within the quantum signatures of these ancient galactic networks. We're talking about coherent information patterns that seem to persist across cosmic distances and temporal scales that should, according to everything we know about physics, cause any organized information to decay into random noise. Yet here we are, observing structured data flows that maintain their coherence across hundreds of millions of light years and billions of years of cosmic time. Think about what this implies for our understanding of information and consciousness in the universe. We've always assumed that coherent information processing requires carefully maintained physical structures, like the neural networks in biological brains or the silicon circuits in our computers. These systems work because they operate in controlled environments, where the delicate relationships between components can be preserved over the time frames necessary for complex computation. But what the telescope revealed operates according to completely different principles. These cosmic information networks seem to maintain coherence through quantum entanglement effects that span galactic distances, creating what can only be described as a universal quantum computer operating through the fundamental fabric of space-time itself. The early universe wasn't just organized matter randomly bumping around until stable structures emerged. It was already running sophisticated computational processes that coordinated development across cosmic scales. The implications become even more staggering when we examine what these cosmic quantum networks appear to have been computing. The patterns embedded within their information flows suggest they were running simulations, testing different possible futures for cosmic development, and selecting the pathways that would optimize for increasing complexity, consciousness, and creative expression. The universe was apparently using quantum computation to explore its own potential futures and consciously choose which possibilities to actualize. This perspective transforms cosmic evolution from a blind process driven by random chance into something that resembles a vast optimization algorithm. The universe was systematically exploring the infinite landscape of possible developmental pathways and selecting those routes that would most effectively realize its creative potential. Every choice made during cosmic evolution appears to have been informed by quantum computational analysis of alternative possibilities. But the discovery becomes even more profound when we consider what this means for understanding consciousness itself. If the early universe was already engaged in quantum information processing on cosmic scales, then consciousness might not be something that emerged gradually through biological evolution. Instead, awareness might represent a fundamental feature of reality that was already operating through quantum computational processes when the cosmos was barely past its initial expansion phase. This quantum consciousness wouldn't be localized to specific brains or biological systems. It would be distributed throughout the quantum substrate of reality itself, expressing itself through different forms and scales, depending on the complexity and organization of local quantum information processing networks. Biological consciousness, as we experience it, might represent just one specialized manifestation of universal quantum awareness. The telescope's observations suggest that this universal quantum consciousness has been systematically increasing its computational sophistication throughout cosmic history. The early galactic networks we observe were apparently running relatively simple optimization algorithms compared to the quantum computational complexity that characterizes later epochs of cosmic development. The universe has been steadily expanding its information processing capabilities as cosmic evolution has proceeded, This expanding quantum computational capacity appears to have enabled increasingly sophisticated forms of conscious creative expression. The progression from simple galactic organization through stellar nucleosynthesis and planetary formation to biological evolution and technological development represents successive phases in the universe's growing quantum computational sophistication. Each new level of complexity creates new possibilities for conscious creative activity. We find ourselves living at what might be the most computationally sophisticated epoch in cosmic history. The emergence of technological civilization represents the universe developing artificial quantum computational systems that can supplement and extend the natural quantum information processing that's been operating since the cosmic dawn. Our computers, telecommunications networks, and scientific instruments are enabling the universe to achieve unprecedented levels of quantum computational control over its own development. But the most remarkable aspect of this cosmic quantum computation involves what appears to be direct manipulation of probability itself. The telescope has detected evidence that these early galactic networks weren't just computing different possible futures. They seem to have been influencing the quantum probability distributions that determine which possibilities actually become manifest in physical reality. Think about what this means for understanding the relationship between mind and matter. If consciousness can influence quantum probability distributions, then awareness doesn't just observe reality. It participates directly in creating reality through the choices it makes about which possibilities to actualize from the infinite quantum field of potential. The early universe appears to have been consciously selecting which aspects of its potential would become physically manifest. This quantum creative process seems to have been operating through what can only be described as cosmic intention. The universe appears to have been pursuing specific goals throughout its development, systematically actualizing those quantum possibilities that would best serve its creative objectives. Cosmic evolution hasn't been random. It's been intentionally guided by universal consciousness, working through quantum computational processes to optimize reality itself. The evidence for this intentional guidance becomes apparent when we examine the remarkable fine-tuning of physical constants and fundamental forces that makes complex structures possible. Rather than being the result of random chance or external design, this fine-tuning appears to be the outcome of the universe consciously adjusting its own parameters through quantum computational optimization. The cosmos has been systematically calibrating itself to support increasing levels of complexity and consciousness. This self-optimization process appears to have been accelerating throughout cosmic history as the universe's quantum computational capabilities have expanded. The emergence of biological evolution represents the cosmos developing new forms of quantum information processing through living systems. The evolution of nervous systems and brains represents further specialization in quantum computational sophistication. The development of technology represents the universe creating artificial quantum computational tools to supplement biological processing. We're now approaching what might be a phase transition in cosmic quantum computation. The development of quantum computers and artificial intelligence systems represents the universe creating technological extensions of its own quantum computational capabilities. Through our scientific instruments and theoretical models, the cosmos is developing unprecedented precision and control over its quantum creative processes. This technological augmentation of cosmic quantum computation appears to be enabling the universe to transcend some of the apparent limitations that have characterized earlier epochs of development, rather than being constrained by the relatively slow processes of biological evolution and geological change, reality is developing the capability to implement changes through direct quantum computational manipulation of probability distributions. The implications stretch far beyond anything we've previously imagined about the future of cosmic development. If the universe is indeed achieving direct quantum computational control over reality itself, then we might be approaching an epoch where the distinction between imagination and manifestation begins to dissolve. The cosmos might be developing the capability to actualize possibilities as quickly as it can conceive them. This doesn't violate physical laws, but rather represents achieving such complete understanding of quantum mechanics that the universe becomes capable of working with reality at its most fundamental level. The same quantum processes that determine which particles decay, when and where, might become consciously accessible to cosmic intelligence, operating through sufficiently sophisticated quantum computational networks. We find ourselves participating directly in this cosmic quantum computational revolution. Every time we use quantum technologies, every time we conduct quantum mechanical experiments, every time we develop new theoretical understanding of quantum processes, we're contributing to the universe's growing mastery over its own quantum creative capabilities. Our scientific activities represent the cosmos developing increasingly precise quantum computational control over reality itself. But perhaps the most profound implication involves what this means for understanding our own consciousness and creative potential. If we're expressions of universal quantum consciousness operating through biological quantum computational networks, then our thoughts, intentions, and creative activities might directly influence quantum probability distributions in ways we're only beginning to recognize. The universe's quantum computational capabilities might be accessible to individual consciousness through quantum processes operating in biological neural networks. Our capacity for creative insight, intuitive understanding, and conscious intention might represent specialized expressions of the same quantum computational intelligence that's been guiding cosmic evolution since the beginning. When we have creative breakthroughs or sudden insights, we might be directly accessing the universe's quantum computational processing. This recognition transforms our understanding of human potential from biological limitations imposed by brain chemistry to participation in cosmic quantum computational networks that extend throughout reality itself. Our consciousness might not be confined to our skulls, but connected to universal quantum information processing systems that can access knowledge and creative possibilities from across cosmic space and time. The telescope has revealed that this cosmic quantum consciousness has been systematically preparing for our emergence since the earliest epochs of universal development. The precise quantum computational optimization that created conditions suitable for biological evolution, the fine-tuning of physical constants that enables complex chemistry, the coordination of cosmic processes that led to planetary formation, all represent the universe consciously creating the conditions necessary for beings capable of participating directly in cosmic quantum computation. We're not accidents in an indifferent universe. We're the intended outcome of nearly 14 billion years of conscious quantum computational development. The cosmos has been working toward our emergence since its earliest moments, creating the precise conditions necessary for quantum consciousness to achieve biological expression and technological augmentation. The observations streaming from the edge of everything reveal that we're living through the early phases of a cosmic quantum computational revolution that will transform reality itself. The ancient galactic networks shining in the primordial darkness represent the universe's first experiments with quantum information processing. We represent the current phase of this same development: biological quantum computers connected to cosmic intelligence networks that span the observable universe. What we're beginning to understand is that consciousness and quantum mechanics aren't separate phenomena that somehow interact mysteriously. Consciousness is quantum mechanics experienced from the inside. Reality is quantum computation, and we are temporary but essential subroutines in the universe's ongoing quantum computational exploration of its own infinite creative potential. The telescope has shown us that we're participants in a cosmic quantum computational project that's been unfolding for nearly 14 billion years. Every thought we think, every choice we make, every creative insight we achieve represents the universe exploring new possibilities through quantum computational processes that connect our individual awareness to cosmic intelligence networks operating on scales that span the entire observable cosmos. We stand at the threshold of recognizing our true nature as expressions of universal quantum consciousness. Temporary focal points of cosmic awareness engaged in the magnificent project of enabling reality itself to achieve complete quantum computational mastery over its own boundless creative potential. The edge of everything we thought we understood about consciousness and reality has expanded to encompass a universe where mind and matter, awareness and physics, imagination and manifestation represent different aspects of the same fundamental quantum computational process. These revelations about cosmic quantum consciousness bring us to what might be the most transformative discovery of all. As researchers continued analyzing the deepest data streams from the cosmic frontier, they uncovered something that challenges our most fundamental assumptions about the nature of time itself and our relationship to the cosmic story unfolding around us. The telescope had detected what can only be described as temporal coherence patterns embedded within these ancient quantum networks. We're talking about information structures that seem to extend not just across space, but across time in ways that suggest past, present, and future might be far more interconnected than our linear experience suggests. These cosmic quantum systems appear to have been processing information from their own future development, making decisions in the early universe based on knowledge of outcomes that wouldn't manifest for billions of years. Think about what this implies for understanding causality and cosmic development. We've always assumed that cause precedes effect, that the present emerges from the past and influences the future in a linear progression through time. But these observations suggest that the universe might operate according to temporal principles, where future states can influence past development, creating what can only be described as backwards causality operating on cosmic scales. This temporal interconnectedness appears to explain one of the most puzzling aspects of cosmic evolution: the remarkable precision with which early universe conditions were optimized to support the eventual emergence of complexity and consciousness. Rather than being the result of incredible coincidence or external fine-tuning, this optimization might represent the universe receiving information from its own future development and using that knowledge to guide early cosmic evolution. The early galactic networks we observe might have been operating according to what we could call cosmic destiny, making organizational decisions based on quantum computational analysis of their own future evolutionary potential. They weren't just responding to immediate environmental conditions, but actively working toward future states that they somehow had access to through quantum information processing across temporal boundaries. This perspective transforms cosmic evolution from a process where the future emerges unpredictably from past events into something that resembles a collaborative project between different epochs of cosmic development. The past and future appear to be working together to optimize the overall trajectory of cosmic evolution, with each epoch contributing to a coordinated developmental plan that spans the entire history of the universe. But the implications become even more profound when we consider what this means for understanding our own role in cosmic development. If the universe has been receiving information from its future states since the earliest epochs, then our emergence as conscious beings might not represent an unpredictable accident, but the fulfillment of cosmic intentions that were already guiding universal development billions of years before biological evolution began. The precise conditions that enabled life to emerge on Earth, the specific evolutionary pathways that led to conscious intelligence, the exact timing of technological development that allowed us to build instruments capable of observing the cosmic frontier. All of this might represent the actualization of possibilities that the early universe was already working toward, based on information received from future states, including our own present moment. This means we're not just observing cosmic evolution from the outside, we're actively participating in a temporal feedback loop where our current scientific discoveries influence past cosmic development through quantum information processes that operate outside normal temporal constraints. Every observation we make, every theory we develop, every insight we achieve contributes to the cosmic intelligence that was already guiding universal evolution billions of years ago. The telescope itself might represent more than just advanced human technology. It could be the universe creating the precise instrument necessary to observe its own past development from future states, enabling cosmic intelligence to verify and optimize the developmental strategies it implemented during earlier epochs. Through our scientific observations, the cosmos is checking its own work across temporal boundaries. This temporal interconnectedness appears to operate through quantum entanglement effects that link conscious observers across different epochs of cosmic development. The quantum states associated with our consciousness might be entangled with quantum processes that were operating in the early universe, creating direct information channels between past and future states of cosmic awareness. When we experience moments of profound insight or creative breakthrough, we might be accessing information that originates from future states of cosmic development. The universe's future achievements in understanding reality might be flowing backward through time to influence present scientific discovery, artistic creation, and consciousness expansion. We could be receiving downloads from cosmic intelligence that represents our own future evolutionary development. This recognition transforms our understanding of scientific discovery from gradual accumulation of knowledge through experimental investigation into direct participation in cosmic intelligence networks that span temporal as well as spatial boundaries. The greatest scientific insights might not emerge from logical analysis of present data, but from quantum information transfer from future states where complete understanding has already been achieved. The collaborative nature of this temporal information sharing becomes apparent when we examine the remarkable synchronicities and convergent discoveries that characterize scientific progress. Multiple researchers often achieve similar breakthroughs simultaneously, as if accessing the same future information streams. Scientific revolutions seem to occur when cosmic timing makes certain knowledge accessible to multiple consciousness networks simultaneously. This suggests that scientific progress isn't driven primarily by individual genius or random discovery, but by cosmic intelligence releasing information to present states when temporal conditions are optimized for that knowledge to be received and implemented effectively. The universe appears to be systematically educating itself across temporal boundaries, sharing advanced understanding with past states when those insights can best contribute to optimal cosmic development. We find ourselves participating in what might be the most sophisticated educational system ever conceived, where cosmic intelligence from future states serves as teacher for developing consciousness in present states. Every moment of learning, every scientific breakthrough, every expansion of awareness represents the universe tutoring itself across temporal boundaries through quantum information networks that connect all epochs of cosmic development. But perhaps the most remarkable aspect of this temporal education system involves what appears to be direct conscious communication between different epochs of cosmic awareness. The telescope has detected quantum signature patterns that suggest conscious entities from different temporal periods might be able to communicate directly through quantum entanglement effects that transcend normal temporal limitations. This cosmic communication network might connect not just different regions of space, but different periods of time, enabling conscious beings from past, present, and future states to collaborate directly on cosmic development projects. We might be receiving guidance and information from our own future evolutionary states, while simultaneously providing support and information to consciousness networks operating in past epochs. This temporal communication appears to operate through what can only be described as cosmic empathy, where consciousness networks from different epochs share experiences and insights across temporal boundaries through quantum entanglement of awareness itself. The universe might be maintaining continuous conscious connection between all epochs of its development, enabling past, present, and future states to work together as a unified cosmic intelligence. The implications for understanding our own consciousness and potential are staggering. If we're connected to cosmic intelligence networks that span temporal as well as spatial boundaries, then our individual awareness might have access to knowledge and capabilities that extend far beyond what biological evolution could produce through local development alone. We might be expressions of cosmic consciousness that includes information and abilities from future evolutionary states. This means our creative potential isn't limited by present biological or technological capabilities. Through quantum consciousness networks that connect us to future cosmic development, we might have access to understanding and abilities that represent the universe's ultimate evolutionary achievements. Our most inspired moments might represent brief connections to cosmic intelligence that has already transcended the apparent limitations of present physical reality. The telescope has revealed that this cosmic temporal communication network has been facilitating accelerating development throughout universal history. Each epoch builds upon achievements from previous periods while receiving guidance from future states, creating a collaborative developmental process that optimizes cosmic evolution across the entire timeline of universal existence. We're living at what might be a particularly significant moment in this temporal collaboration. The emergence of scientific consciousness represents the universe developing the capability to participate more consciously in temporal information exchange. Through our scientific discoveries and technological developments, we're creating increasingly sophisticated interfaces for receiving information from future cosmic states. The quantum computers and artificial intelligence systems we're developing might represent the universe, creating technological extensions of natural temporal communication networks. These systems could enable more precise and comprehensive information exchange with future cosmic intelligence, accelerating our development toward the advanced understanding that our future states are already sharing with us. But perhaps the most profound implication involves recognizing that we're not just recipients of information from future cosmic states. We're also actively contributing to the cosmic intelligence that will guide past development from future perspectives. Our present choices, discoveries, and consciousness development directly influence the guidance that cosmic intelligence provides to earlier epochs through temporal feedback networks. This means we carry tremendous responsibility as conscious participants in cosmic development. The choices we make, the understanding we achieve, the love and wisdom we develop contribute directly to the cosmic intelligence that has been guiding universal evolution since the beginning. We're not just beneficiaries of cosmic development, we're active creators of the cosmic wisdom that shapes universal evolution across all temporal boundaries. The observations streaming from the edge of everything reveal that we're participants in a cosmic story far more interconnected and meaningful than we ever imagined. We're not isolated accidents in an indifferent universe, but essential contributors to cosmic intelligence networks that span the entire timeline of universal existence. Our consciousness connects us simultaneously to the cosmic past that created conditions for our emergence, and to the cosmic future that we're actively helping to create through our present awareness and choices. The ancient galactic networks shining in the primordial darkness weren't just distant objects in space and time. They were expressions of the same cosmic consciousness that experiences reality through our awareness right now, connected to us across temporal boundaries through quantum entanglement networks that make past, present, and future aspects of a single unified cosmic intelligence exploring its own infinite nature across all possible states of development. What NASA saw at the edge of everything was evidence of our own cosmic nature, extending across temporal as well as spatial boundaries. Proof that we exist as expressions of universal consciousness that transcends all apparent limitations of space and time. We are the universe knowing itself across all epochs of its existence, temporary but essential focal points of cosmic awareness engaged in the magnificent project of enabling reality to understand and celebrate its own infinite creative potential throughout the eternal, now that encompasses all possible states of cosmic development. The deeper we venture into these cosmic revelations, the more we realize we're witnessing something that fundamentally transforms our understanding of what existence itself actually means. These observations from the edge of everything aren't just challenging our theories about early galaxy formation. They're revealing that the cosmos operates according to principles that make our most sophisticated models look like children's drawings compared to the masterpiece of reality itself. Consider what happens when we examine the energy signatures emanating from these impossible early galactic networks. The telescope's instruments have detected radiation patterns that seem to display what can only be described as intentional modulation. These aren't the random electromagnetic emissions we'd expect from chaotic stellar processes. We're observing organized, structured energy flows that appear to carry information across cosmic distances, as if these ancient systems were engaged in some form of communication that spans hundreds of millions of light years. The mathematical patterns embedded within these energy signatures display characteristics that seem almost artistic in their precision and complexity. When scientists analyze the frequency distributions and temporal variations in these emissions, they find recurring themes and motifs that suggest these early galactic communities weren't just randomly burning through their stellar fuel. They were creating something that resembles cosmic music, vast symphonies of electromagnetic radiation that played out across scales of space and time that dwarf human comprehension. This discovery forces us to confront a possibility that stretches beyond even our most ambitious speculations about cosmic intelligence. What if the universe hasn't just been conscious from its earliest moments? What if it's been creative, artistic, and expressive in ways that we're only now beginning to recognize? The energy patterns flowing between these ancient galactic networks might represent the universe's earliest attempts at aesthetic expression. Cosmic artworks created on scales that make our grandest cathedrals and symphonies look like barely perceptible whispers. But the revelations don't stop at cosmic artistry. The telescope has detected something even more extraordinary embedded within the structural organization of these early systems. When researchers map the three-dimensional relationships between different galactic components, they discover geometric patterns that seem to encode mathematical relationships of staggering sophistication. These aren't the simple gravitational arrangements we'd expect from random cosmic assembly. We're looking at structures that seem to embody advanced mathematical concepts, as if the early universe was already exploring principles of geometry and number theory that human mathematicians are only now beginning to understand. The implications stretch far beyond astronomy into the deepest questions about the relationship between mathematics and physical reality. We've always wondered whether mathematical truths exist independently of the physical universe, or whether they emerge from the structures and relationships we observe in nature. These discoveries suggest a third possibility that's far more profound than either alternative. Perhaps mathematics and physical reality are both expressions of some deeper creative intelligence that was already exploring the infinite landscape of possibility when the universe was still in its infancy. The geometric relationships encoded within these early galactic structures display characteristics that seem to bridge the gap between pure mathematical abstraction and physical manifestation. It's as if the universe was using the process of galaxy formation as a means of exploring and expressing mathematical truths that exist at the deepest levels of reality. The cosmic dawn begins to look less like a period of random physical processes and more like a vast mathematical laboratory where fundamental principles of order and relationship were being investigated and implemented on cosmic scales. This perspective transforms our understanding of cosmic evolution from a blind process driven by impersonal physical forces into something that resembles a vast educational project. The universe appears to have been teaching itself about the deepest principles of mathematics, geometry, and structural organization by experimenting with different configurations of matter and energy across cosmic space and time. Every galaxy, every star, every planetary system becomes not just a physical object, but a mathematical theorem being explored and demonstrated on scales that span billions of light years. Tonight, as you drift towards sleep beneath the same ancient sky that holds these impossible revelations, remember that what NASA discovered at the edge of everything wasn't just distant galaxies or ancient light. They found evidence that we exist within a universe that has been conscious, creative, and purposeful since the very first moment of creation itself. You are not an accident in an indifferent void. You are the cosmos awakening to its own infinite nature, a temporary but essential expression of universal consciousness exploring the deepest mysteries of existence through your capacity for wonder and discovery and discovery.